Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. We have a special guest with us today. This is Steve Danielson from Triad-Orbit. Great to see you, man.
Hi, Mitch. Nice to see you.
Appreciate you taking time to sit down with us and show us some cool new stuff.
Oh, absolutely. This is really fun. So this is a new departure. I mean, Triad-Orbit is all about adding accessories and add-ons and taking the stand to different levels. And this actually brings the ability to bring guitars now to the stands, which is nice. So we're creating what is called I/O string swing. It's going to be in 6 different models. So we have 2 for each. We have guitar and bass. We have ukulele and mandolin and violin.
Okay.
So of the 3, and then each will be in 2 lengths.
Okay. So the idea with these then is the Triad-Orbit system. It's really a stand system that can support microphones, cameras, lights, the whole kind of thing. But now you can also either integrate your guitars onto your mic stand along with your iPad and everything else, or you can do wall hangers, or you could do all kinds of different things using the system and these additional hangers from String Swing.
It solved one of the needs for me as I play on church on Sunday mornings, and my restraints were more in the guitar area. I would bring 1 or 2 guitars, and now I'm getting my footprint's expanding.
Right.
Right. And so if we have an Aviom and we have a guitar and we have a music stand, all of a sudden my footprint became rather large. So what this did was allow me with String Swing was to be able to put the guitars on the stand, which is great because Triad-Orbit stands are heavy, have a very low center of gravity, and they allow us to put a bass, a guitar, 2 guitars, 3 instruments we've even put on there, and it really works great.
Right, all on one stand instead of having to have a separate stand for each of those. Now you mentioned there were 2 different versions for guitar bass, for mandolin, ukulele, and for violin. Why are there 2 versions?
We have them in short and long, and the reason being is for applications. For our applications, if we're coming off a wall mount, then what we're going to do is we have a short version. This is the length of what we would normally see in a hanger, like a String Swing hanger. And by the way, this is a String Swing product, so this actually comes from String Swing to us, and then we add an adapter. So our part of it is just a screw-on adapter.
Okay.
So this allows a lot of flexibility even more. So again, we could put it in like that. If we put a long one in, this would be great to be able to have for acoustic guitar off a wall. Electric, I would probably go to the short because otherwise it would be a little bit, the body would be farther than I would like to see off of it. But again, our I/O is about the same as what has normally been in the String Swing. So you can look at that and say, okay, that's probably the distance. That's why there's no collar for that, and there's a larger collar. If we put this on a stand and put this on one of our clamps, if I'm using an acoustic guitar, I want it farther away from the stand.
Right.
And electric would be fine if we went with a short. You'd still have a good amount of room. And we can see from the guitars here about how much room that we have with a short or with a long.
So you have the electric guitar in this case on a short mount, and then you have the acoustic on the longer mount. You can see that it spaces it away from the shaft of the stand very nicely, so it gives you that clearance that you need. The other place I see that clearance working with the long mount, and you were talking about this a little bit earlier, is if you have acoustic treatment on your walls and you're trying to hang in front of that with a electric guitar.
Yes, in my studio I have acoustic treatment, and it's at an angle. So what I've done is I've actually put this above it, and I put the long one there, and the acoustic treatment will be here, and it gets you farther. If I did the short, it would be bumping in and sticking out at an angle, and that wouldn't be what I would like.
Right. So one of the issues that I see with this is you've got an acoustic guitar here and a much heavier electric guitar, and you might have a bass and an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar and try and put them on the same stand. Do you need a special stand to support that, or how does that work?
Well, with Triad-Orbit, our stands have that low center of gravity and the heavy weight. So that's my recommendation, is this would be perfect on a Triad-Orbit stand because you can take a P-bass, which I've had on it, and it had an acoustic on one side. If you lift the acoustic off, if it was a stand that didn't have that center of gravity or have that weight, it might want to tip and go over. Here, you can do that and it doesn't even affect it at all. It's rock solid for either of those. And we even had it and tested it in between the tripod legs, which is the weakest part or the easiest part for a stand-it trip.
Yeah, right. So the recommendation is to use this with the Triad-Orbit stand. That's really the way you guys have tested it.
Yes, and this is not a competition to go up against String Swing because we're selling this as a package with a short or a long, and it has the I/O head that you can remove off of this. But there's no way to attach it. You need another product for this.
Sure.
So this is not a guitar hanger, basically. It's another attachment from another tool in the toolkit of Triad-Orbit that you can use for that. If you have Triad-Orbit and you have wall mounts or you have a clamp, this is a perfect addition to get you to do something that is you couldn't do before.
Right, right.
But
yeah, just being able to wall mount your guitars, of course, is very, very important, and your violin and your mandolin and your bass or acoustic guitar, whatever it might be in the studio. But also I see in the studio, a lot of times you're going to want to put things on a stand in addition to taking it on stage with a stand, and that space savings in the studio can make a big difference.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
One of the big advantages that I see here is this I/O adapter. Now, what does I/O stand for, and what does that allow you to do beyond just mount your guitar to the wall?
I/O is basically, it stands for in-out. It's just simply that. There's nothing, there's no big meaning other than that.
Right.
Just in-out. It's very simple. So being able to do that, the in-out allows us to be able to quickly put something in, take it out. For this, so if we were using this on the wall, which, like I said, I have 4 or 5 of my guitars in my control room at different heights, strategically done. This is much for aesthetics as anything else.
Okay.
But at the same time, there is convenience there, because if I have this on the wall and I'm actually putting a string swing hanger in here, so the difference being, if this is a string swing hanger and it's on the wall, that's what we have. It's forever and ever a string swing hanger. So I put a guitar, I take the guitar off, and that's it.
Right.
And I can put my hat or a coat on it, but that's about all I can do other than the guitar itself.
Right.
But with this, it now becomes a mic with you need it. So I have them high, a couple guitars high, so that I can actually take the guitar off, put a microphone in. So now it's my vocal mic, or it's a light, or it's a camera, whatever I need. So there is there is the adaptability that this provides.
Right. It also goes the other direction, though, because you can take that hanger section that you had on the wall, and using one of the clamps, you can put that on your mic stand and use the same hanger in both places.
So what I've done, which is kind of fun when you see this, is this is now a dual guitar hanger in my hand. It goes great in the guitar case, and it allows me then to not have to carry the, we have pedal boards, we have our guitars, and if you're a multi-instrumentalist at all, and we're doing this a lot at church, I'll have a 12-string, I'll have a 6-string, or I'll have an electric, and I'll have my 6-string. So I'm taking multiple guitars. It's an awful lot to start carrying around.
Yeah.
And what you can do here with this, this is what we call our mini clamp, Synergy mini clamp, mini grip clamp. You can actually just screw this in to one side, and then I can take my other one and use the I/O portion, and now I have
A dual
two
guitar.
stands, dual guitar stand. That doesn't take but a couple seconds just to configure. And
Right.
it's there.
Right,
And
that's
it's nice to be able to have just the convenience of it and be able to have it in your guitar case, and you have the ability to do 2. Or you can have the guitar on one side, and now we can do an iPad holder on the other.
Right.
So depending on what I do, what gig I'm playing or what I'm doing that particular day, if it's a single guitar, I may just bring a small clamp like this, and I'll just snap the guitar in, and I'm using it like that for the guitar, and that's it. If I need iPad, I screw it into the back side, and now I just put in my iPad holder, the iOrbit iPad holder, and now I've got that ability, or I can put the guitar in. So this clamp allows a lot of flexibility. It's tiny. It holds over 60 pounds, so it's going to hold your Les Paul, it's going to hold your P-Bass, it's not going to be a problem. And we have the ability here to just pack it up really small when you need it that way.
Right, and it'll mount to both a stand, or you could clamp it onto a desktop surface or a
Absolutely.
tabletop. So if you're working in the studio, you could clamp that right next to you on the desktop and have your hanger right there beside you.
Yes, yes.
Right, right, very, very versatile. Now I know that you've talked about the real-world testing you've done of yourself playing this, but you've also gone out to some of the notable artists in the music genre as well, and they've been testing it for you.
Yeah, we've had some, we went through Nashville and talked to a lot of A-list players, and we've given those to them and had them just make sure it works really well. Without an exception, we've had just phenomenal feedback that this is a game changer, as
Right.
the words of some of them. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Steve, congratulations on this. This is a big announcement. It is exclusive to Sweetwater.
Yes.
And for guitar players, for bass players, mandolin, ukulele, violin, stringed instrument players,
Yes.
this is going to be a great solution, whether you're on stage, whether you're in the studio, whether you're hanging guitars on the wall. You got a lot of versatility here. Very cool stuff.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in. And thank you for joining me for Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more guitars, more amps, more effects. We'll be making lots of music. I'm Mitch Gallagher.